Hello everyone, welcome back to the Fish Room. Before we get started today, I wanted to take a moment to thank all of you for your positive words and your support with the last video. Again, your support means so much to me, and it helps validate why I want to do these videos, because I think the majority of us want to be able to share and learn from each other. And as I have said in past videos, I feel that people truly do not understand the proper husbandry with critically endangered fish. Today's video is one that will support a lot of my opinions and feelings about the aquarium hobby and critically endangered fish. Today we are going to discuss 3 species within the Goodeids family, known as the Xenotoca Eiseni Complex. And the 3 species that consist of this group of fishes are Xenotoca eiseni, Xenotoca doadrioi, and Xenotoca lyonsi. Many of you may know these fish, commonly called the redtailgoodeid. So I'm going to explain why it's so important to use scientific nomenclature and also ESUs and collection data to substantiate so we can confirm which species you're working with, and why, in my opinion, aquarium strains of these fish are completely decimating the representation of these fish within our hobby. As I mentioned briefly, they're commonly called redtailgoodeid. So what exactly is the problem with that? All 3 species look quite similar, and to an untrained eye, it would be very difficult for someone to differentiate them. But they all look the same. The males look similar, and of course the females are exactly the same. So you need ESUs and location pinpoint data in order to differentiate these fish. What happened up until 2016, Xenotoca eiseni was classified as 1 species only. And for many years, people were developing these lines, and they were starting to gain some popularity in the hobby. However, in 2016, through research, through DNA sequencing, sorry, the tongue got caught a little bit there, through DNA sequencing and also through tissue samples from necropsy, it was confirmed that these fish are in fact not 1, not 2, but 3 separate species. And exactly how did that happen? As these fish moved across their topography, they became isolated in small volumes of water. Once isolated over a period of time, many years, these fish eventually transitioned into a different species, separate from eiseni. This process is called speciation, and it's quite common in nature and happens often. What we've seen with these Xenotoca Eiseni complex is that they have in fact represent 3 species. So here's the problem. They look exactly alike, and if you do not have an ESU and location pinpoint to substantiate what species they are, you take the high risk of hybridization. And in my personal opinion, that is exactly what is happening in the aquarium hobby today. So to make a good example, I don't have eiseni in my fish room. I've just decided that I'm just going to work with the other 2 species for now. And to be totally honest, the reason I don't have eiseni here, and I'm certainly not trying to be disrespectful to my fellow hobbyists, but there aren't too many people I would trust that have a valid confirmed bloodline of these fish. The doadrioi that I have and the lion's eyes, I know I could trust the people. As I've said before in my streams, my entire fish room is comprised from selections from 5 hobbyists and breeders that I know personally that are well respected in the hobby. So for me, I want to make sure when I'm bringing a fish in, it's what it's supposed to be. So Xenotoca doadrioi comes from San Marcos, Mexico, and Xenotoca lion's eye is from Rio Tamazula. Those are some ways to differentiate from species. But also, as I mentioned, the CARES program is pertinent to identifying these species. Qualified researchers and biologists such as Dr. John Lyons, who is well known and well respected with Goodeids, would be one of the people that will confirm your fish. So you're going to have that person qualified that can determine what species you have. I would also like to mention you can take note when you go into the CARES program database to submit your data for confirmation. You will notice that the Eiseni Complex is one of the few that you must have ESUs and collection point to identify. Why? Because as I've said, these 3 species almost look exactly the same. So in my fish room, I can notice a little bit of a difference, but for someone who maybe is not that well versed or experienced with these fish, they all look the same. So let's talk about Xenotoca doadrioi. So up first, we're going to discuss Xenotoca doadrioi San Marcos, located in Jalisco, Mexico. These fish are listed by the IUCN as critically endangered. These fish can be found in various habitats throughout Jalisco, Mexico. They can be found in waters that are clear to turbulent, from biotopes that consist of rock formations to densely planted. As I've mentioned, Xenotoca doadrioi is one of the most popular of the Goodeids currently out in the hobby. But with that popularity comes the onslaught of unconfirmed fish and aquarium strains. As I've mentioned so many times, there is no room in conservation for aquarium strain. I'm going to make even a bolder comment. People want to label aquarium strains critically endangered fish, and you're working on conservation. Respectfully, what classifies a fish as critically endangered is not the visual representation, but the biological genetic representation of that species. That's what makes them critically endangered. So if you cannot confirm that bloodline and confirm the genetics, and you have an aquarium strain, not to sound disrespectful, you have a knockoff. That's the best way for me to explain that. You have a knockoff of a critically endangered fish. You have a visual representation, but that is not the purpose of working with critically endangered fish. So that's just a visual representation. It does not represent the genetics of a critically endangered fish, which is the main focus of working with conservation and critically endangered fish. There are very few people out there right now that I would feel comfortable getting a bloodline of doadrioi unless they have confirmation, and part of that confirmation means that they can supply data and sufficient support to validate that they've had them confirmed. So a prime example is when I register my fish with CARES, I will get a response back on the confirmation. What I've taken upon myself to do, I create a digital certificate. And so let's say that I recently registered doadrioi. I'll get my response back on the confirmation. On this certificate, I talk about the species. It'll have listed the species, the date was confirmed, and the doctor who confirmed them. And people are like, okay, what's that piece of paper got to do? Well, here's what you can do. If you're one of the folks that would get fish from me, you can reach out to the contacts in CARES through the individual breeder service, a gentleman by the name of Jason Redding, and you can reach out to him and ask, hey, I have this fish from Ed Moats. Has it been confirmed on this date? And they can confirm that to you to show that is what it is. So that is a way of keeping track of all of that. And then what I tell people, it's not just me registering the fish, it's once they go into your hands, you registering them too. It has to continue to go on to keep these fish confirmed and maintained. There are very, very few people doing that, especially with the Eiseni Complex. And I really have to think long and hard of people I would consider getting this bloodline from. There is one gentleman, he has a YouTube channel. I have a great deal of respect for him. I would consider him because he also does similar practices I do. So so that's the problem with the Eiseni and the doadrioi. But now let's talk about lion's eye. I can take a look at lion's eye and see a difference. They're a little bit more robust and they have a more prominent back line. But also in my fish, the males have a really deep tangerine tail. So let's take a look at them. Xenotoca lion's eye, Rio Tamazula, Tamazula River, Sinaloa, Mexico. These fish are listed as critically endangered on the IUCN list for conservation. These fish can be found in moderate to swift-flowing waters. Each habitat varies from rock-structured biotopes to densely planted. This species is probably by far my favorite of all the Xenotoca Eiseni Complex. But what's sad about these fish for me is they're having enough babies to maintain their bloodline, but I'm really not producing them in large numbers. So I'm hoping to change that in the future. The difference with lion's eye is that they come from Rio Tamazula. They're also a little bit more robust. People think most Xenotocas can be nippy, but I really have found that lion's eye really speaks to this. I find that to them, if you try to mix them with other fish, you can have issues because they're not aggressive, but they're extremely active, and I can see them going for long flowing fins and things of that nature. But as I said in my fish room, I maintain all of my fish in species only tanks. Make no mistake, if we continue down our current path of breeding aquarium strains of Xenotoca complex, we will have a negative impact on the outcome in the future of these species, not just in the hobby, but in possible reintroduction back into the wild. It's time for us to take action. So another topic that I wanted to discuss that ties in with husbandry and the care of these fish is nutrition. And why do I want to bring that up? I personally feel that many people are not feeding the appropriate diet to Xenotoca. Yes, Xenotoca are omnivore. However, I have found in my fish room, Xenotoca thrive on a diet with some protein, however, with more plant-based product. So what I feed is 3 to 4 times a week I supplement with minimally processed nori kelp. So I go to an Asian market and purchase some myself in bulk, and I will dry it. Or I've also purchased from some high quality companies with really good foods that are minimally processed. And when I say minimally processed, I mean it's gently air dried and not dried to a crisp. So quality nori it's pliable and it doesn't fracture and bust into pieces. You're going to feel the oils, and it's going to have a little bit of a moisture and a bend to it. Why is this important? Because by minimally processing it, you're not destroying all the enzymes within the product. I also feed this for nutritional fiber. What I have found in Xenotoca, but also in Scyphia, their intestinal tracts tend to be a little longer, and this helps push fecal matter through the system and keeping the digestive system clean and working properly. But what I've also noticed while feeding limited ingredient foods such as nori, which is a plant base, my Xenotoca colors really pop. So I wanted to touch base really quick on that to give you a little heads up on what would be the best things to feed them and what I have been feeding my Xenotocas for the last 7 years. Now for the closing of the video, and this is the part where I just want to express myself wholly, authentically, and respectfully to our community. A lot of people say, oh, you conservationists and you naturalists, you preach gloom and doom all the time. I can't change your opinion, but also I cannot discuss the issues and my concerns. So this particular lines of fish, the Xenotoca Eiseni Complex, tend to be very prominent and popular in the community, as I've said, but also they're being decimated day by day by people continuing to produce unconfirmed aquarium strain fish. I hope that in this video, by discussing the differences in locations and how they have developed into different species, that you now have a better understanding on how important it is to confirm these bloodlines of fish. And as always, feel free to comment in the comment below this video. And if you ever have any questions or need any help with resources, feel free to reach out to me. Again, thank you for your time, and I look forward to seeing you again soon. Hey guys, thanks for watching. If you like what you saw today, be sure to like and subscribe to my channel. Also, For more information regarding critically endangered fish and Goodeids in my fish room, log on to my website www.edsaquaticexotics.com. Hope to see you again soon.